YouTube, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about land.com today in my review of the platform. And I want to start this video by being very upfront. I wanted this platform to work for me. Of course, as a business owner, I want everything I invest in to work. And before signing up, I had very high expectations because on paper it sounded perfect, right? It's one of the biggest land marketplaces. They have like a monopoly on a couple different land platforms where, they have a lot of organic traffic and a lot of exposure, and it's people looking specifically for land. It's not like the MLS where you see houses and land really. After actually using it in my business, I am a little bit disappointed. And I just want to give you guys a real honest breakdown of what I expected, what I actually got, what I paid, what I still pay, and who this platform might make sense for and who it probably doesn't make sense for. So it's not a rant, and I'm not saying the company's horrible. There's a lot of people with good experiences with land.com. This is just my experience as someone actively doing a lot of lower ticket flips, right? So just a little bit of who I am in context. If you're new here, my name is Levi. I'm co-owner of MMC-LAND, where we buy and sell vacant land parcels. So last year we did around 30 land deals, mostly low to mid-ticket flips. And we also actively help beginners get their first land deals. So this review is coming from the perspective of someone who actively sells land, someone who has tested multiple ways for disposition, and someone who actually tracks the results, right? Let's talk about why I signed up. I signed up because my thinking was very simple, right? I thought to myself, if I even got like one buyer a month, or not even a month, if I just got like one cash buyer, it would pretty much pay for like my entire subscription, right? And so I started on a plan that's $505 per month. So it is a little bit expensive, and prices vary depending on the state you do business in. Now, here's kind of the first red flag for me. Now, it's hard to just try out the software or the platform because they strongly kind of push you towards an annual subscription. It's not forced or anything like that, but if you go month to month, you'll notice the price jumps very high and your value gets way worse. And you're essentially getting almost like you get penalized for wanting flexibility, right? And so once you're locked into the annual plan, you're basically stuck and you can't really quit early, right? So that's a big commitment, especially for someone that's newer and doesn't have, 10 grand coming on through. And it's a very big commitment for someone who's just starting off, for example, someone who's not, making $10,000 recurring every month, right? Like $505 per month just for this is kind of a lot of money, right? So my total contract, right, $505 times 12, that's like $6 grand that I'd be paying, right, over the course of a year. And so let's talk about Facebook Marketplace versus land.com. And so at the time when I bought land.com, I was also using Facebook Marketplace. And this is kind of where things started to fall apart, right? So Facebook Marketplace it's completely free. It has a similar listing process, right? Like it takes a couple minutes to post. You have a description, you do your pictures, and you also get a lot of massive organic traffic, right? And so the thing is, Facebook Marketplace consistently brings me more traffic than land.com. And it's not like slightly more, it's, to be honest, it's a lot more. And so, especially for like very low ticket land and parcels under like $20,000 to $30,000, I got more conversations, more messages, and just more serious buyers. And so that alone makes it really hard for me to justify paying $500 per month for my plan. And now, if you're thinking about getting land.com, like it still could be worth it for you depending on your plan. It's just my experience, like me paying $500 per month, I sold, since I got land.com a couple months ago, I've sold like 8 properties. And so honestly, it might even be like 10, like 8 to 10 properties without one of those leads coming from land.com. And so, and on top of that, I have all of those listed on land.com as well, or I had. And now lead quality is another topic to talk about because most people assume that land.com like really shines here because in theory you have more serious people looking for land, they have higher intent, and in reality they kind of do. It wasn't super impressive. Like I still got people like ghosting after initial contact. You still have people that are browsing and looking for like 20 other properties. I noticed like I would spend more time on the phone with these people than on Facebook, and they would still like not really end up buying anything. So it's almost like I was like kind of wasting more time with people on the phone answering questions and stuff, and then they would just go with something else, which is, it's fine because that happens, but I spend more time on the phone for less results. So sometimes it's better than Facebook. Like, you definitely have more serious people on there sometimes, but you get way less conversations. So it definitely wasn't like $500 per month better conversations and lead quality, right? So when I look at like cost per like disposition, essentially, it's like it just doesn't really make sense for my personal business. But I think it might make sense for people that are maybe selling higher ticket land, maybe properties like 30K and up. People more focus on like brand exposure. But the thing is, it's like if your parcels are that expensive, usually you have a realtor anyway. And then once you have a realtor and it's listed on the MLS, typically it goes on land.com anyway. So you're kind of already getting that exposure. And it's like, what am I kind of paying for here? And so opportunity cost, I think you can find a better use of like $500 per month. And that's not their only plan, guys. There's a lot of different plans. Like you can probably get a plan for like $200 per month. That makes way more sense for you. But I think, if I put $500 a month into something else, I could probably get a better return out of it. Now, one disclaimer I need to add is my properties were not the problem, because you can argue that like, hey, like maybe my pricing was bad, maybe my marketing was bad. First off, like I said previously, 8 to 10 properties that I've sold since getting land.com, all of them ended up selling just on a different platform where I got more leads. So it's not necessarily that the pricing was the issue. I know it was priced well because they all sold well pretty quickly, but that's kind of how I know it's more of a land.com issue in itself. And so that's kind of the comparison that like really was the cherry on top, was like, I'm just getting more deals out of Facebook Marketplace, which is free. But I want to talk about what other people in the space are kind of talking about as well. And I don't want to, say any names, but I've talked to other people in the space as well that are in similar positions, and they don't necessarily like land.com either. They're not the biggest fans of it because they just think that it's not really worth the price. Now, that's kind of it, right? Like, just to wrap everything up, like land.com isn't useless. It's not a scam. I think it has a place in some businesses. And I think if you have more properties, maybe it's worth having a subscription. But for my business personally, I don't think it was worth the cost. Right now, I'm still locked up in an annual contract. So it's like I'm still paying $500 a month whether I like it or not, because there's nothing I can do. So I just feel like I wouldn't renew it. And I'm just trying to give some insight on the platform, my thoughts, so that way maybe if you're curious starting it, maybe have some more insight. Like if you're using Facebook, now Facebook has its pros and cons. Like sometimes it'll like your accounts, it'll like almost limit your reach. I feel like there's better solutions to that than getting land.com. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you're trying to keep your overhead low, keep it low. Maybe don't get it. And then if this helped you at all, like the video, comment if you have any questions. You can DM me on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. Subscribe for more reviews and tips that I actually use in my business. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.